I'm Leigh LaRie.
And I'm Nik B.
Listen, we're just two single girls from the City of Roses discussing all things love, lust, and perception.
And roses are a symbol of all things beautiful about love.
But as you know, love can get a little dirty. So we're here to talk about it.
Dirty Roses Podcast starts now.
Hey, I'm Leigh LaRie.
And I'm Nik B.
And welcome to Dirty Roses Podcast. We are talking about open relationships.
Open.
Like that Mervin's commercial.
Yep.
This was like you're touching boobs at this point, but I don't know if people know about. Okay. She's touching her boobs. In case y'all
I had to jump in on that.
Everybody.
Even if they're invisible, I gotta squeeze them.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We are joined, and I'm gonna let you do the introduction.
Yes.
Because this is your people.
These are my people.
Yes.
So I'm really happy, you guys. Today I have my cousin and soon-to-be cousin-in-law.
Ow.
So we got Mr. Snubb. Snubb. Wait, what? Cousin, how would you like us to call you?
A pimp named Slickback.
Joshua. Big Snub Dudley.
Big Snub.
AKA Top G Daddy.
I don't know that I can say Top G Daddy.
No, you good.
I'm just going to be like, all right, Cuddy.
No, you good.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then please, I want to hear how you would like to be called.
You can call me Shawnie, but my real name is Shawnica.
Shawnie, but it's not spelled like
spelled
Shawnica.
like,
it's got like a silent J in there.
Django. With the Russian kind.
Django.
It was like SJ and apostrophe accents, hyperextended letters, and then a K.
What I'm trying to say is that I got family on here today.
Ow.
We got family.
Welcome. I love it because we are being close and connected today. So, every episode starts with a story. And so we got a story today. Boy meets girl. Yep. They start dating. He continuously cheats on her. And so in the process of her deciding how she wants to deal with that, rather than breaking up with him, she decides that we're going to do an open relationship because I'd rather know about it than to have it happen behind my back, which comes to be like a very big misconception about cheating, or not cheating, but open relationships and even poly relationships, right? Because we had this talk about open poly relationships and how they worked in season 1, where we said that a lot of people felt like it was like modern day pimping, and it was like really the guy just wants to cheat, but then we learned that there were rules and standards and boundaries and guidelines. And so Nik B, you sent me a video, which was this lovely couple doing a live.
Yes.
And you guys you tell it.
Yeah. So I got on my Facebook one day and opened it up, and I see you two doing, I think it was maybe one of your first live feeds, or somewhere in the beginning of when you guys started going live.
Yeah.
And this was my first time actually knowing that you were engaged. I was like, oh, I haven't met, I didn't know, and I mean that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just I didn't know.
Right.
And so I was tuned in because I'm curious, like what's going on in my cousin's world and what's happening. And the takeaway that I heard was that you guys were in an open relationship. And so immediately my mind started thinking, so what's the difference between an open relationship and polyamory? That was my first question that I had for myself, and I was like, I want to know.
Right.
And so I started listening more to this particular episode. And the further it got along, I was understanding a little bit more that only one of you is open to dating more than one person in your relationship, where the other person does not. And so at that point, I actually stopped. My wheels were spinning, but I stopped watching the feed because I was like, I want to get them on our show. I sent it to Leigh, and I was like, hey, we should have them on, and I'd love to talk with them more about their dynamic and how it works, and who else subscribes to this lifestyle, how it works for them, how you guys got here, especially because I'm not sure about your background, but I know like you had more of a traditional upbringing where this wasn't a common lifestyle. So I was like, I really want to know how they got here. Let's get them on the show. He's like, book them, let's do it. So here we are. So maybe you guys can start and explain to us a little bit, what is the difference between an open relationship and polyamory?
I think you want to go ahead and take that one.
So like the biggest difference is with poly, you are dedicating like actual full-on relationships with multiple partners, whether that's live-in, you all have separate homes, but it's all like a functioning community between multiple people. With open relationships, it's just either one or both partners are sexually sleeping with other people. It's not an actual relationship with others outside.
So there's no community in the sense of like polyamory seems to be more of a community based
like multiple relationships.
And then an open relationship is not that you are emotionally connected to anybody else, but that you are okay with having a physical relationship with somebody.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And it looks different for everybody. I think ours would definitely be considered like an unconventional halfway open relationship. That's the best way to
okay, so I'm going to talk about that. So which one of y'all is open?
Me.
And the cheesy grin and let it all be known. But okay, so the question is then, is it by choice or is it your preference that she doesn't date, or how does that work and how did you guys decide on that?
It's both.
It's both.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know a lot of it came from me telling her what I wanted and what I was looking for. And before, with the traditional relationship, I started to find issues with not being able to have that safe space to be open with my partner, just even about conversation. Seeing a female that was beautiful and just wanting to compliment or tell her about it because it would bring up an argument like, oh, so this is what you want to do. And it's like, nah, I just want to tell my person about something nice that I saw. Like, I just want to be able to explain that to you. Yeah. And that wasn't accepted. It was like every truth in that was always punished. So naturally, I started lying about shit, which I didn't want to do. But when someone tells you the truth about something and you punish it, you learn to lie. And as much as people may not understand that, everybody has done it sometime or another, or they're currently doing that because...
Now, when you say telling the truth and getting punished, it was because you would compliment other women or because you were actually stepping outside of that particular relationship?
I was just being honest about what I saw. Like, I was like, oh, she's pretty. So
you weren't actually sleeping with anybody. You were getting penalized for just saying somebody was pretty.
Right. So then it got to the point where I was like, fuck it. I'm about to just go...
If you're gonna accuse me, I might as well just
I might as well do it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And then at that point, it was I was getting other things from other people that I wanted in my relationship.
Gotcha.
And that's when, over time, I started to piece together, when I move into another relationship, this is what I need and what I want. And if I can't get that, I'm just gonna either find somebody that can give that to me, or just be single.
Now, what was your background as far as views of relationships?
I mean, my parents were never together. I'm actually the product of a threesome. Fun fact.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, my mom's gay, so yeah.
Okay.
So I've had a lot of different experiences when it comes to that, but I've never even had an open mind to an open relationship at all until I met him. That was not something that I ever thought that I could deal with or tolerate.
So was it simply your love for him that opened your eyes to accepting what he wanted as a life? Was it, I guess what I'm trying to say, was it something you wanted, or was it something you wanted because he wanted?
I think it was a little bit of both. It took a lot for us to get to this point, and just going through the things that we went through and almost losing each other, I think made us both realize that okay, I need to meet you here and you need to meet me there for this to work. And that's the biggest thing with having this type of relationship is setting aside your own selfishness and definitely just accepting your partner's needs and wants. You gotta let go of that emotional aspect.
So what is the reasoning for you not wanting to have an open side on your side?
He can vouch for this. I do a lot. I'm very, very committed to one person, and I can't spread myself out between multiple people because I wouldn't be the partner that I am to him if I did that with multiple people.
Got it.
So when did you know that you wanted open relationships? Have you always been like that?
No. I think as I got older and I really started to have those conversations with myself about what I needed, what I wanted, what would make me happy, what was realistic, what wasn't. And if I was going to get any of that, I needed to be with somebody that was going to support that. It's just like being around people that are like-minded. It's easy to bounce ideas off each other and get things moving. It's hard when you're with people that don't think like that or aren't working to get to that point where everybody it's like, okay, yeah, and everyone's feeding into it to help something, help something work. And being in a relationship, that's what you have to have it be like. Like, the relationship I was in was a 15-year relationship. We have 2 children together. So the fact that I can't just tell you things about myself or things that I'm into without it being a problem was an issue.
Yeah.
Because you think about somebody who's been together 40, 50 years.
Right.
You don't think they know each other, know each other.
Right.
They done been through it.
Yeah. And so now you two today are engaged, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So congratulations to that.
Thank you very much.
So when I found out you were engaged, the next question that kind of came into my mind is, why marriage? Traditionally, marriage is a very traditional, monogamous, almost sacred,
because you take those
religious,
vows.
right? It's all these things that come off very cookie cutter in religion, but your lifestyle is not as traditional as marriage portrays. Why do you aspire to marriage?
So I think our relationship is everlasting changing, because originally what he was interested in was poly. And I'm the one who sat him down and let him know, like, I don't think that this is a realistic lifestyle for you or for me, just because the kids that we have already, and then just overall, I don't want to have another me. So then neither one of us wanted to do the whole actually legally getting married thing. We just wanted to have the experience of it. And then, I don't know, a few months ago, he was all cute or whatever, and just like decided that he really wanted to like actually legally do it. And in all of my past relationships, I never wanted to. I thought marriage was just a piece of paper. Neither one of us are religious at all. But I think we've created our own specialty and meaning behind it. And it's just really like solidifying.
So what changed for you that you were like, no, I want more than just the motions, I want it legal? What changed for you?
I think where it came from for me is like, when my shoulders are sitting a certain way, she knows what's the matter with me. Like the way I'm breathing, when I speak, the spaces in between words, she knows what's up.
She's
so
your
that
person.
she's my person, so she knows. When it comes to, it could be a situation with friends or family, she's like, babe, are you cool if I say something? She'll ask me before she just jump in. That lets me know she respects me, who my friends and family are, the position. Like, she respects all that. And it's like, okay, I gotta keep that. I gotta lock that down. And the whole thing with marriage is, I believe in marriage. I think it's different for everybody move into it. Like Genghis Khan, for instance, like he had a lot of daughters. He only married his daughters to other men to inherit their kingdoms. So he would marry, he would marry them in, and then the men would now be his soldiers on the front line. So when they died, the daughters inherited all of that, which then he got that because those are his daughters.
So it's kind of like he was pimping them off a little
bit.
bit.
But there was a purpose behind the marriage. Even though the marriage may be a thing, it's a real thing, that union. There's different rules to it with everybody. It's just like a job. Every security job don't have firearms. Some security jobs are observe and report. That's all you do. You don't do anything else.
So you mentioned rules, though. So then, what are the boundaries that you guys have in place around the open relationship piece?
You wanna tackle that?
So a lot of them are very like kind of just up in the air. Like it's very situational if we're gonna adjust it depending on who the person is. But there are ones that are completely not flexible. Like number one, for my safety, his safety, and whoever the other person is safety, he's got to wear a condom. No spending the night, no pillow talk, and those rules are mainly to prevent feelings from happening. Not on his end,
From
on their end.
Yeah.
Do you ever meet these women?
No, I mean, there are one that I do know, and that again was a circumstance where I set aside my selfishness and my feelings because it's something that he needed and wanted, so we met in the middle with it.
So even with having these rules in place, like obviously you understand kind of the guidelines and how to respect your relationship. Do the women that you meet and date, do they know that you're in a very special, significant relationship?
Yes, they do.
And they have no problem, like there's never any questions that they have for you on like what's expected of them, or how does that work?
They do, but most of what's expected from them is within the rules and guidelines. So if they have any questions in regards to that, then
Do you make them sign contracts?
No, but that is in the works. That's gonna be a thing.
No, absolutely. So I don't know if you've had a chance to hear any of our other episodes where we've talked about like BDSM lifestyles, and there's always contracts in place.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And so we're finding that more couples or situationships are doing that. And we try. I actually asked the question in one of our previous episodes last season. Why the contract?
Right.
Why is a verbal agreement not enough?
Right.
And we were actually talking to a sexologist, and he explained to us, he was like, because having it in writing means you can't go back and say, well, that's not what I said, that's not what I meant, I didn't understand.
Yep.
And so that's why things are in writing. And I was just like, interesting, because I've been approached with signing contracts, and it wasn't for me. I was like, I'm not going to sign no paperwork to hump you. What the hell? I don't want it.
That's my cousin. I use the word hump.
That part.
You know, a lot of these people that he runs into, a lot of them do make it really, really easy. But there are that handful that make it abundantly complicated for no reason. We just had one last week that she wanted to meet me. She wanted to have a conversation with me. She wanted a video confirmation from me, and she was protecting me and all this. And I was like, girl, it's just sex.
But you know, I can kind of feel that in a certain way, because it's like you got so many. It's Portland, you know what I'm saying? We have this conversation off camera where it's like people be out here lying and saying that they in an open relationship or they poly or they doing this. And you don't want to be involved with somebody when you know they're lying to their significant, because you don't want to be that person. And a lot of women don't want to be that person, right? Yeah. So I can feel it, but I guess like if you're saying it's cool, I'm good, then she should have left it alone.
Yeah, well, and I totally understood that, and that's not something that I wanted to do. I didn't want to meet her. I didn't want to talk to her, so I met her in the middle, and I was like, I'll send you a voice note. Nope, that wasn't enough. She was a
because it could have been some other random person.
No, she literally she insinuated that he would have gone to that length of finding some random person.
Like, ma'am, I don't want to send that bad to do all this extra.
It ain't that serious.
Okay, not to be like hella personal, but did you ever sleep with this person?
No.
Okay, because I'm like, that she said like she was doing the most.
It's too much.
Right.
That was done.
So since this is kind of a new type of relationship for both of you, what was it like the first time you started sharing with your friends and family how you guys choose to live your lives? Were you met with positive feedback or negative feedback, mixed, both? How did it go?
I think most of the time we get the, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. You like it, I love it.
How does that work?
Right.
But is that a judgy, oh, that's interesting?
Sometimes.
Or is it a curious?
I think more, I would say more men that I talked to about it were like jaw to the floor, like, no, like dead ass.
Where'd you find
that?
Are
you talking about OGs? Are you talking about younger men or
younger
men?
And older? We're both just like, hold on, how you, what? Yeah. For real? It's like she cool with it. I'm like, yeah, because we communicate, we talk. Like,
use our words.
I don't hide nothing from her. Like, she got the access to my phone. Like, sometimes she be like, baby, let me see your phone. Like, grab it. Like,
one of the girls that he talks to calls me a unicorn.
We heard that in the poly episode where it was like, but that was more of like a person who enters into another person's relationship and doesn't want anything else out of it but to be in the relationship for them. So they call that. So, but you're a unicorn because ain't nobody like you that would do this.
Unique.
That would do this and be okay with it.
Yeah, well, I think our relationship is so unconventional in so many different ways. Like, you're a sadist. Our age gap is another thing that most people aren't aware of.
Are you a sadist also?
I think, I don't know.
No.
What's the difference between a sadist and an atheist?
Those are opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Well, so what is sadist?
Well, and he's not a sadist like he worships Satan. He's a sadist like that's his kink in bed.
That's the S in the BDSM.
Oh,
Yeah, not,
okay.
just because it's an is doesn't mean it's a it's a religion.
So I didn't know.
No, you're good. No, because most people.
That's
don't
why I was like, well, wait, what's? I was
ask the
trying
question.
To,
They just assume that's what it is.
Okay,
Like,
so we
you
got
worship
the
the devil. Like, nah.
I know the S just stood for sex.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, BDSM.
So for people who did not listen to BDSM live, so explain what sadist is.
That's all you, honey.
I like to be in control. You know
I just thought
what
that
I'm
was D for dominant.
No. So usually it's, and this maybe not to put words in your mouth, but it's like kind of like where you're not just dominating, but in a very for some people it can be a little bit embarrassing for the other partner. There might be some things that you say to the other person that might be
Like
Like
humiliating.
shaming,
humiliation,
demeaning,
kinks.
Yeah.
those kinds of things. Some people's freaks and kinks would be like, "Bitch, suck this dick," like that kind of a thing. So then you know.
That's that's more
that's
along
more-
the lines.
That's
of
more
us
along
rather
the
than
lines of it,
shame.
but it's not.
But not for
so
everybody, not that.
vulgar. Like, just like, rah, like, it's not
That's
like
the way that I
that.
can describe it. It's like
Eat a bag of dirt.
Yeah, because I
like
care
that.
about her so much. It's like, babe, I'm
not
with
gonna
the
humiliate
wobbler.
her.
See, and
Right.
there's
The humiliation I
absolutely
won't do.
there's
Right,
absolutely nothing that we won't talk about. We're very kind of stupidly open people, so I don't know how in depth you want to go into what that looks like or
Oh,
give an
I'm
example.
curious.
I know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But it's your
weird.
family.
I know
It's
it's
okay.
Plug your ears.
Ask away.
I'm mature enough to maintain a conversation. I'm not gonna like. be
Okay.
Like, oh,
I think an
God.
example.
And even like with some of the things that with the BDSM is stuff that I've always been into naturally, but I'm also learning about like, oh, that's what that's called that I'm into. That's why I like that.
Yeah.
Got it.
Examples.
What's your favorite one?
Have you guys ever taken a quiz?
Yes,
Yeah, we
yes.
have.
That was
We've
getting
taken
to
a
what's
quiz.
okay.
I also like if I have like a weird, just dark fantasy, something I want to live out. She's like, okay.
So you're like a try everything once.
Gunplay.
knife
Oh,
play.
okay.
Use my sword. I mean, I was like, I want to run in the house, act like I'm robbing you, and just take it. And she's like, go ahead.
I think
I'll
the
pretend like I'm
first
asleep. Like,
I think the first time he realized that like that's how our sex life was gonna be was one day he said he wanted to step on my foot. We were like out in public, and I just put my foot out
Oh.
and let
I
him
just
step
stepped on her
my
foot.
And he was like, ah.
yeah.
No, for real.
It's happening.
Like I didn't like
It's
do
happening
it
right
super
now.
hard. I just did it hard enough where she could feel. I was like, ooh, she let me do it. Ah, like she was like, like that's how it was.
Interesting. Okay, so you guys have taken the test, and what,
Okay.
okay, so Leigh and I have also taken the test. Not for each other, of course.
Apparently we're
Just-
together. at
We
this
are
point.
together, right? But we found ourselves both on the high end of being vanilla in the beginning.
Really?
The first time.
First few times.
Oh.
Now, and that's we've also kind of analyzed this as well. We realized that in the beginning, when we first took this test, it was probably because we were uncomfortable
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
questions. So we absolutely answered on a safer side of
Like, oh my God, no.
I
would never,
I
yeah.
could- right.
Would
so,
never.
Which is why our test results came back dominantly vanilla with sprinkles
Right.
and other stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Right. And now we over
And
here
we take
dominant,
it-
submissive,
Yeah, we take it
switch,
more.
rope bunnies.
Yeah.
Right. So when you guys first started kind of diving into your preferences and likes, were you guys ever on the vanilla spectrum, or have you always kind of had some freaks and kinks?
Freaks and kinks.
From the
Freaks
beginning.
and kinks.
All the
Yeah.
way. What I enjoyed about it was when I was doing my test, her head was here. So she was just.
Watching you fill it out.
She was like, babe, no, don't answer that. That's not it. This one. And I'm like, oh.
Remember that time that we did this? You're really
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, like I was just reading
Slide
like,
that bar down.
okay,
Yeah.
boom, yeah, okay, and she's like, no, go back. That, and that one. I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. Like,
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
so I get the vibe that you were more familiar with this type of lifestyle as far as the BDSM types of, or
I
at
mean-
least knowledgeable about it.
she's
No.
knowledgeable,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
she
I'm
just
just
knows stuff.
I'm just
Right.
knowledgeable on it. I've never all of my previous relationships have been extremely vanilla.
Okay.
Like as vanilla as it gets.
Aw.
So it's always been like this is the first time that I think both of us have found somebody that we can really just
Be yourself.
Has it been
be
freeing?
freaky deaky and not feel like weird. You know? It's
okay.
nice.
Like if I have an idea, something I want to try, she's like, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's rare that she says no.
We have a bucket list of things that we still haven't done yet.
What are some hard no's?
Shit
I
play.
won't shit on her. I won't
Shit
let her
play.
shit on
I'm
me.
happy to
Pretty
hear
consistent.
that. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that.
Because I done seen it like you. Oh, or the whole
sounding. Also, sounding is a fucking no.
Wait,
for
what
me.
is sounding?
Urethral sounding.
where you stick stuff in
God.
my.
It's men and men and women both. It literally, they make little tools. Some of them look like metal anal beads, and you put it inside of your urethra.
Your urethra.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how?
Yeah, the
Thank
little,
you.
yeah.
How does
Not
that?
trying to kink shame anybody who's into that, but like,
Yeah, we're not gonna yuck your yum. But
I've
that
even
sounds
seen
very
it to
painful.
where-
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm
My vagina hurts
I'm
right now.
doing a Kegel.
No.
Me too. I'm like, no, don't go in there. No.
I remember
Was it tucked too
one
tight?
thing I saw made me sweat. Like, it was the lady, she was giving him, and she grabbed his nuts and just was
oh yeah,
punching him. And I'm like,
that's like some dominatrix stuff. Like,
but people like that. Like,
Some
it's just
people
not.
do.
but no, we've tried like
Like
piss
pain.
play and shit.
Okay, so piss play is something you're willing to try, but
We've already done that.
So,
Yeah.
but
I
shitting.
wanna
I guess there's a whole different fragrance.
piss on you.
Kelly. But not R. Kelly.
Oh my gosh. So then, now my other question
This is going
is
so
like,
far.
because you're able to live out all these different fantasies and things you'd like to do in the bedroom with each other, you still have a desire to want to like be with other people? Do you not feel fulfilled with just one woman who's
Such a
kind
common
of,
question.
well, because it sounds like you're literally giving him anything that he would, be interested
Right.
in.
I do,
So it's
yeah.
like, if she wore a wig and became a different looking person, like, is it just that you want a different person sometimes, or is it that you're not getting everything you need from one?
I'll put it this way: if I use an analogy, like, she would be like my favorite pair of shoes that I take care of, and then there's other shoes I like to try on, but I don't keep them.
Okay.
It's like going to the store, trying on a pair of shoes. Oh yeah, these is nice, and then you put them back.
So, but that's just it. I don't think I'd go to Foot Locker and be like, let me try on them shoes that I'm not gonna buy. Like, I don't go try on shoes that I have no intentions. If I don't have a need for them, I usually don't go.
Well,
try
because
something
sometimes
on.
you like the way something looks. You want to
It's-
try it and
It's
see
for
what
curiosity.
I think
it's the curiosity aspect of it,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I've met girls that are like so like just gorgeous, but are like,
Boring in bed. They just
Yeah.
lay there
and it's
be
like,
do
oh,
me.
you be capping,
Yeah.
like you're garbage.
Yeah.
And then some of the ones that might not be crazy cute, they
Yeah.
like, all right, are like,
Athletic.
she's on the wall, like, yo, like, it's just,
He's popping on the handstand, you know what I'm saying?
like, I wasn't expecting that, like, you know what I'm saying? And then
No, I
they're
feel you.
just,
I think
Go ahead.
I think the best way to describe it for him, why he feels that desire, is what does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? Those are the things that runs through his mind when he sees another female, and he just wants to experience it. And if that opportunity is available to him, he has that space to do so. So why not? Because at the end of the day, if we're being super, super duper realistic about it, every man has that desire. I don't care if you are in the happiest relationship you've ever been in. My
Yeah.
grandma and grandpa have been married for 50 years. They're the cutest people ever. My grandpa still looks at women and is like, damn, I wonder what that's like.
Okay, so we were having a conversation
talking
about
about this
that,
earlier.
and it was like, you can look, but if you don't act on it, like, is there like a level of lack of self-control then with this, or
I don't think it's that.
not in a
no.
negative way? I'm just saying.
I have crazy self-control.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking to y'all earlier before this, like drinking or smoking, doing drugs. I don't do none of that. I could be around it, but I won't do it. And some women,
But you've
I
also
can-
never had a desire for it too.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
And even with some women, I just enjoy, like, man, she's pretty. I wonder what it'd be like. Okay, like, after I get that on my mind, like, after I look at it, I'm cool.
So then, with your relationship, do you ever go back and revisit the same girl more than once? Like, is it a matter of, I came, I saw, I conquered, I was curious, and now my curiosity is done? Or do you ever go back to the same girl and be like, let's do that
I
again?
feel like a
That was
repeat
fun.
establishes feelings.
At
sometimes.
first, it
That's-
it can, but that's where communication comes in with talking to that person if that's something you want to revisit. Because at first, that was in the guidelines that wasn't no repeats.
Yeah.
But then, more times than not, she'll be like, hey, babe, remember the rules and guidelines you came up? I actually want to look at that again. And let's go over those. Is there anything you'd like to change? Anything you like? Anything you don't like? What do you want to add to that? Do you want to take something away? Like,
So
what is it?
what's like a rule that you all had initially that you chose to change or that you requested to change?
I think the repeats.
Yeah, the repeats. I think that
Like
was
who-
one of the first
Who
ones.
requested that change?
I think it was me. I came.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's just, it was very situational. Now it seems like we've kind of drifted into like they're all possibly repeatable, but that's at his discretion. Or their discretion if they want to get all fucking weird or not. Because
Yeah.
they do
Gotcha.
that.
Right.
They
They tend to
freaking do that. Or they just disappear. That's another frequent thing that happens is they just literally poof into thin air like they never existed.
And I think the other thing we can touch on with that is I'm a social butterfly. I like
Massively.
making connections. And I just
Massively.
like
It
talking to
runs in his
people.
family, though.
Right.
Who would've
So
thought?
I enjoy having conversations with people. Some of these people that I may have sex with, I just enjoy actually just talking to them.
Yeah.
Do you maintain friendships with any of the women that you slept with?
A few of them.
And are there boundaries around that?
Yes, there are.
Like what?
Like when we I don't like calling it a date.
Yeah.
Like if we do I call it an outing. Like it depends on the, you know what I'm saying. I'm paying for my food, you pay for yours. Or if I'm like, hey, let's meet up. If I initiate it, I'll take care of it. You know what I'm saying?
And I think the rules shift if his desire to be sexual with that person is still there. Or if it's a previous sexual partner that he's just still friends with and they're just friends now, that's where it's different. Like
Gotcha.
I'll meet that person. But if
Okay.
you're wanting to kick it to fuck again, then I don't want a part of it.
Gotcha. Now, what is it for you that prevents you from wanting to get to know the women or meet them or those kinds of things?
Women are shady as fuck.
Yeah.
They're just shady.
That's
I
facts.
also have a pretty hard time making friends with other women. Most women don't like me for whatever reason. It's always been that way.
Women hate unicorns.
It's kind of absurd because I am a nice ass person.
Well, and I think it's when it's couples, like she has male friends
Oh my
and their
God.
girlfriends are like, I don't like her, and it's like she doesn't make any passes. She doesn't say anything disrespectful and mean to the guy or the girl. Like,
And it's always been like that for
she's
you?
just nice, and they're like, oh, I don't like her.
Do you feel like women are threatened by you because they might think that you're going to convince somebody that relationship should work for them, or
I think I don't like to say threatened because I don't like to sound egotistical because that's a stereotype of my sign.
what are you?
When is your birthday?
Oh, okay.
August 14th.
Oh, you're.
Oh, that's my friend's birthday.
Oh, really?
It is.
Birthday twins. But I'm very far away from like the stereotype of my sign.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, they're definitely threatened. And also, I don't know what it is. We were just talking about this earlier today. People around me that I usually work with, especially, end up catching feelings for me.
Oh.
And I do nothing for that to happen. I'm just who I am, and that's it. I'm not a flirty type of person or anything like that. I'm constantly talking about him. He's always at work with me. I don't go anywhere without him, so
She don't even like being next to other people.
I don't.
So the fact that women are
I'm like, he's
threatened
like, where are you working? Then he come in.
when other
Bring
women
your
are,
husband to work day.
right? Well, because where I do security at is she works in the same place that I do security.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
But she doesn't even like being next to other people, so it's like, why are you threatened by her? She won't even get next to your dude, and you mad.
But
Like,
was
for
this
what?
was this a common problem for you before the two of you were together? So
Yeah.
this has just sort of always been your
Gotcha.
gravitational pull.
Yep.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I don't know if I do. Are there people that don't like you that you can tell right off bat? Like, do you ever have that issue?
Oh, everybody likes me.
Everybody likes me
I
too.
don't know.
If everybody like you, somebody plotting. They pretending they don't. They do like you.
Most women do not like me, and I can usually tell pretty quickly.
And I just, it's really just her personality, her aura, the way
Gotcha.
she presents
Yeah.
herself to people is very threatening because
And I have
you can only
RBF.
act for so long before somebody call you a bluff.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with her because she's not pretending to be anybody else but herself.
Is there anything about other people that make you guys uncomfortable when they're around? Like, are there any girls that openly flirt and it's a problem for you, or are you just sort of like, he's got this, I don't even need to waste that energy? Like, is there anything that ever bothers either
When I
of you?
say something stupid that don't make sense and they're just laughing hysterically, like,
Yeah.
I just cracked a
9
crazy
times.
joke. And I'm
Wait,
like,
hold on. I want to laugh, but then I was like, I can't laugh right now because that's.
No, you but because you know what I'm talking about. But it's
Nine times out of 10, I will let him deal with that on his own.
Okay.
I don't usually have to fucking say anything because I wear my emotions on my face big time. So if she looks at me, she's gonna know. And we've been in a couple situations
You
where
almost beat that girl up at the strip club.
I
Oh,
sure
you a
as
fighter?
fuck did.
Are you a fighter?
Oh,
I am.
she got hit.
She's like, I don't know why no one likes me.
Just because I'll back you up
Bitch in the
on
face.
side.
She was right next to me, and this girl comes over and sits on
his
my lap.
fucking
Was she a dancer?
Yeah,
Well,
but
that was her job.
No,
Yeah,
because
but-
he's security.
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
her job. She's
Oh, gotcha.
That's not her job anymore.
And
Gotcha.
she didn't ever do those things when I wasn't around. It was just because I was there. They would also tip him less
Oh,
if
you were
I
there.
was there.
if she showed up to see me, or
Oh,
they would tip me less.
interesting.
Is there HR at these types of jobs?
Nah.
Not at that club.
Nah, you
Not
would
at
think
that
it should,
club.
but it ain't.
I'd be like, a tip out isn't right
They're working on
tonight.
it.
Maybe somewhere like Cab probably has HR, but that club no.
Yeah, nah.
Interesting.
Nah,
But yeah, no, we've had to cut off some friendships of his because of just behavior and because of me. Like they're just threatened, and so they do the most
Wow.
all of a sudden, and it never used to be like that.
Does it feel like women are testing you?
Sometimes.
that, and I feel like both men and women, and I think on my end more so because when it comes to the men, because people have this idea that, what's the word, entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
When
That's
it
my
comes to
favorite
me,
word.
they have entitlement.
Yeah.
So they
Love
feel
it.
like, oh, that's bro, that's a new bitch. And I was like, one, she's not a bitch. Don't say that. Two, she's here,
Right.
and that's not changing. You know, because I stand on that.
Yeah.
Oh, nigga, you acting funny. It's like, I'm not acting funny, bro. Like, this is who I'm about to be with. So if you're gonna be in my life, bro, you gotta respect her. And if you're not gonna do that, you gotta go.
That's
Family or friends, you will be removed. And I do it quick.
Do men hit on you thinking that because you guys have this open relationship that
Right.
you're into them being with you? Or
Sometimes, yeah, but I make myself so unapproachable. So it's like
Sit
really,
back. Are you sure you want to talk to me?
yeah, it's really
Like, let's go,
surprising
let's
when
go.
people still try. And I just told him this earlier today. I was like, I will intentionally bring you up before a conversation even really like sparks off. And I'll be like, oh yeah, my husband this, my husband
I
that.
found when I was married that when I did that level of loyalty was a higher attraction.
Sometimes.
It was really annoying.
Sometimes,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, because then it becomes a game of can I
That's
hurt
true.
her
Yeah.
and can I make her
Can I
leave
break
her
her?
situation? Yeah.
That's
No,
true.
that's why I make myself also unapproachable. I'm gonna be the biggest bitch you've ever met. I don't want you to be attracted to me. When I say I genuinely don't like people, I
I'm not
don't. I don't.
She's
Men,
like, I barely like
women.
bitches.
And how did you two actually meet then? Because
We
Right.
met at my job.
okay.
Gotcha.
I came in there to look for some work clothes.
I was still being pretty unapproachable
Is
with
she?
him too. Yeah.
So what about him made it like you're like, okay, I'm gonna let my wall down.
he guessed my favorit dinosaur.
What?
It's so random.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It
I only
is.
know like one.
It's a Stegosaurus.
Yeah.
Triceratops.
I think
We
some
were-
who asked the question.
It was Max.
Asked the
Yeah.
question, and
Wait,
he
Max?
asked,
It's like a
Max,
specific
Max, her
dinosaur?
friend Max asked her what her favorite dinosaur was, and I was like,
like,
at the same time she was about to say it, I was like, Triceratops, like we said it at
You
the same
said
time.
that.
I just said Triceratops. That's
Oh
the
my
only
God.
one
And
I
she
know.
just looked at me, and it was like, that's it.
Yeah.
Aw.
That's so cute.
That is cute. I
So
bet y'all watch Atlanta for a time.
Right, because its name has Sarah in it, and so that's why it's like.
What was
super
I
cute.
think was it for one of
Sarah.
our year anniversary or something? You got me a little Triceratops.
Oh, the plushie. Yeah.
Aw, that's
Yeah.
cute.
And the toy. No, it was for my birthday. I think
was- yeah, the
you got me
Triceratops
a
was
little
for your
Triceratops
birthday.
toy, and then the plushie was just for the
That's cute.
anniversary gift.
Aw.
That is cute.
A little dinosaur love, you know what I'm
A
saying?
little raw.
It's hard to
Little
find.
A little raw with a little foot. Baby
Well,
wants some
well,
little foot
and-
tonight.
And one of the key components in our relationship too, because I know this may be a question, but I think because we're here, we can just jump into it. is the communication.
Yeah.
Communication just doesn't come by way of like just talking to each other. It's us dedicating, like every Tuesday is her day. I don't pick up my phone if it's not my kids calling, if it's not an emergency or work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not picking up my phone. I'm not talking to nobody. And that's just to dedicate undivided attention. Anything she want to do, if she just want to lay in bed all day, that's what we doing. Playing video games, that's what we doing. Like doing art, that's what we doing. We cleaning up, we doing something together. It's just our day. And if she asks for any other days, like, hey babe, can we do one or two more days this week? I'm like, yeah, cool. Because I mean, as much as she's okay with sometimes chatting with these females when I'm playing the video game, I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
And she's holding the conversations with them and setting up the meeting and whatnot.
Sometimes I have better conversation than he does.
Yeah, like it's.
And they don't even know it.
No.
They have
no
no
idea.
idea.
We do tell them that sometimes my wife engages in these conversations, but they don't know if it's ever me. Because I text like him. I put myself in
And
his
she
little
knows me so
noggin.
well, she knows how to respond
Yeah.
to whatever question they're asking.
That is. Do you two ever have disagreements? How do you two solve like conflict? Do you-
It's not super often that we have like even arguments at all. But when it gets to that point of like you're bothering me, I'm bothering you, we take like 10-15 minutes. We come back and we literally just like, okay, can you hear me now? Because we both do this thing where like you're listening but you're not hearing what
Right.
I'm saying.
Right.
And him being as strong-headed as he is can be a little difficult sometimes.
And I work through that, and I love the fact that she's so patient with me working through that, because I'm so used to just friends and family, just certain situations not being heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They respond more to how the way I respond is what they answer to. They're not answering to a need
Right.
beforehand. So now when I'm showing that I'm upset or uncomfortable, now they're responding. And she doesn't do that.
And that's another thing is like we're both very open about like our past traumas, and instead of using that against each other, we work with it. Neither one of us like to yell at each other. We don't like to be yelled at. We both shut down, so we don't yell.
Right.
We also don't call each other out of each other's names ever. He's never like, you fucking bitch. I think I've called you an asshole once or twice.
Yeah.
But I call you that
This is
like on the
during
days.
Well, I think just
You know I like it.
just to touch the edge of it, she doesn't like the word cunt. So I was like, you're
No.
being a cunt. Instead of me saying it, I was like,
that's
you're being.
passive
Way to
aggressive.
tiptoe around that
Thank you.
one. Thank you. Tiptoe around that.
Yeah.
So that's my way of tiptoeing around it without actually saying it,
And then
because
you got punched in the face.
right.
Completely
Well,
unrelated.
that's funny because we both definitely have like a temper and
Okay.
semi-anger issues.
Really? I'm sorry,
But
but
we-
like sitting here observing the two of you both seem
Right.
very calm and in
Right.
control of your words and how you want to present. So to hear
All
you
I
have a
can
temper-
imagine is that if he gets really hyped up and angry, he starts crunking
Crunk
your
it,
face
right. Does he
like
do
That's
that?
so
Does he-
funny.
Are you that-
Y'all
I'm
funny.
right
Yeah,
up.
I'll throw a few arm swings. Chest pump.
Look, what I was saying was.
When I
I
think
think
what
we just both balance each other out with that.
that and what people don't know about controlled, calm people is their other side is just as worse or even worse.
Oh, yeah.
It's-
Kind of
It
like that
takes a
duck on the
long
water,
time.
real calm on top, feet constantly moving
Right,
underneath.
Yeah.
right. Well, it takes a lot to get you to that over point, and then once you're there, there's no turning back.
It's true.
Yeah. That's
and it's
a lot.
just like you see in
Exactly.
movies like a hitman, they got the nice scarf on, they dress real nice, clothes pressed. Like you wouldn't think that he kills people.
Yeah.
But he's so calm the way he speaks to people,
Right.
the tone of his voice, how he says his words, like everything is like, oh,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well,
eye contact.
right now we are actually taking a break from the whole open side of our relationship just for a week, just because we both kind of got so wrapped up in everything else about life, and we kind of forgot about each other for a minute.
Oh, okay.
And that caused our first like real fight
Mm-hmm.
since like we were figuring everything out. I don't know, that was like a 15-hour argument. That was a lot.
It seemed like it was for so long.
We hit each other's buttons for sure, and we both reached that peak of like, okay, we're not coming back from this mood
Right,
that
right,
we're
right.
in now.
And
So is a week long enough to come?
yeah, it is. I mean, shoot. Typically, if we have a disagreement or
Okay.
It's really 10 or 15 minutes we take and then come back.
So then,
And then she talks and says what's on her mind, how she's feeling. I process it, and then I speak on that, and then I tell her how I'm feeling, and then she'll process it, and then she'll respond. And then before you know it, we're hugging and kissing like, baby, I'm sorry. Like,
maybe the baby talk.
yeah, like, you still my honey? Like, yeah.
So I had a question. You guys made the comment earlier about children. Do you each have children? Do you have children together?
We don't have children together.
She has a daughter. I have a son and a daughter.
And so, what types of conversations do you have with your children about the dynamics of your relationships? Do your kids at all think, wow, my dad isn't faithful, or oh, wow, my mom's being cheated on? Do they understand?
So my daughter, being only 6, doesn't really see that at all yet. But I've always spoken to my daughter as if she was an adult, so if that conversation ever does arise, I'm totally prepared for it. And I don't know what conversations you've had with Joshua or Mel.
The neighbor came down with the big old booty, and he ran. It's like, Dad, look, the neighbor coming down. And I ran in, and you looking out the window like, her booty ain't even all that. Like,
She really wasn't even that.
Wait,
She
back up.
really
What
wasn't.
is the story? What happened?
So there's this neighbor, and you know, like,
She smells nice.
She smells really nice. She's like on the scale, like when we talking looks, she's like a 6,
Yeah, 5.5, 6.
5.5, 6.
But with the body.
But with her clothes on, her booty and thighs just look. So my son seen her. He's like, Dad, the neighbor, she going to the car. She walking to the car.
How old is your son?
He 15. And I ran,
Your son
and we
is-
both sitting by his bed,
Fucking
peeking.
creepers
Oh my God.
in the window.
Out the
Looking at the
windowsill.
neighbor's booty.
And I'm like, oh my God. And then I think she heard me. And she turned around and we both dug down, and me and him are laughing, but we're trying not to be loud. And Shawnie's like, y'all so stupid.
They're
But
bonding.
I think what my son saw in that was she wasn't angry that I did that.
Yeah.
She wasn't like, oh my
He
God,
wouldn't
you're
have-
always looking at somebody's booty. Like, it's
He
nothing
wouldn't
like
have
that.
even have said anything in your previous relationship.
No.
He would never have been like, Dad, the neighbor. He wouldn't have said anything.
Because it would have been a fight, but it's not so much that I'm teaching my son anything negative or nasty, but it's just I've shown him how to just appreciate things you see, and it's okay to look at something. You don't always have to say something right up front or be cute about it. Learn how to look without drawing attention to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We also don't
Just not that
lie.
scenario because y'all were drawing
Well,
a hell of attention to
and we
y'all's
also-
window.
It was like two little boys excited to see a big booty. Like, it was like, oh my God, like.
We were having a conversation earlier that just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean that people are no longer attractive.
Thank you.
Right.
That
And
part.
sometimes people will get in these partnerships and all of a sudden it's like they have to act like they don't have eyes.
Right.
Or you
Yeah.
Or
can't
like
look at
nobody's
something.
attractive
Right.
anymore.
Right, right.
Which is unrealistic and it's just not true. Like there's beautiful
Right.
people everywhere.
And
So
hypocritical because
yeah.
just because you don't say something you didn't get caught looking mean doesn't mean the other person ain't looking.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like with the fellas, it's cool to be around your guys and talk about the females you smash. Even in your females friends group, like, nigga, give me a hot, knock that down. Like, and then with women, they do the same thing. But when you with your partner, y'all act like y'all don't be looking over there, and it's like that's weird. So you
Yes.
See, and
comfortable
that's-
talking about that with people you not in a relationship with, you don't
Yeah.
share fluids
They
with,
feel
you don't have
scared.
kids with.
Because it's scary.
But
'cause
that's
it's-
backwards. It shouldn't.
It's absolutely backwards, but I do think that it's just because it comes from a place of people being scared of
Right.
hurting their other person's feelings.
Yeah.
And that the person is going to perceive that if you think that person's attractive and I don't look like that person, are you actually saying that I'm not attractive? Like that's what
Right,
internally
right.
happens sometimes. But that
That's-
again comes from not communicating, and it sounds
Yeah.
like you guys do a lot of really good communication.
Yeah, and that's something that I've always been like that, even in my previous relationships, because I am pansexual. So I'm open to.
Yeah, break that down because I don't think we've had a conversation about pansexuality yet.
No.
So for our
bisexuals,
listeners,
yeah.
can you explain pansexuality?
Yeah, so most of the time I don't identify myself as pansexual because it's such a complicated topic for a lot of people. So I usually refer to myself as bisexual because everybody knows what that is.
Right.
But pansexual just means that I'm really not opposed to anything. Trans, man, woman, non-binary. It doesn't really matter to me. And now I haven't been with all of those groups, but I'm not opposed
Okay.
to any of them.
It's like whatever energy flows
Yeah.
with you is good.
I'm opposed now, he likes to think that I'm just straight now sometimes, and I'm like, that's funny.
Wait, why do you like to think that? If she's not saying that, why do you?
His sadist side.
It's just like with women, you know, they'll lie to themselves about something they want. You know he ain't shit, but you'll lie to yourself about it.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, or like, you know you're not the only one he's smashing, but you'll tell yourself, I am, and you'll be like, you know you're not, but go ahead.
But wait, in this scenario, she's saying
you.
I'm pansexual, but
And
you're
you're
saying
like,
no, you're
nah.
not.
No, you're not.
Because I
The way I
think
fuck you, you're not.
The way he looking like,
You
not
ain't-
today,
you ain't.
you
You ain't thinking about nothing else when I'm in your back. Like,
Right in your bag. Oh my god.
I think for him, because I do have insecurities within our relationship, within myself.
Okay.
I have my good days, my bad days. Sometimes I don't want to hear him talk about other women, but I also communicate that. And he also has insecurities, so I think him saying, nah, you're straight, is something that makes him feel better. Because if you think about me being pansexual, the playing field is so much wider.
It's so much out there.
Anybody
Anybody
is
can get
technically
it.
a threat.
Yeah.
You know?
Not anyone can get it.
Anyone can get
just
it. You know what I'm
wait.
saying?
But at the same time, he's also very, very confident in me and our relationship,
Yeah.
and he knows that I am all his, and he really enjoys that.
And I think it's safe for me to talk about what I'm insecure about, because most people will say they're not insecure about anything.
That's a lie.
Right.
There
ain't
was a
worried
point where
about
he did
nothing.
say things like that just to protect himself.
Yeah. Defense
And
mechanism.
as time went on in the relationship, I was able to be more honest about what I needed, how I was feeling, and really open myself up, which helped us have a much stronger connection in the relationship, because it's something that a lot of people, once they feel uncomfortable or vulnerable, they run away.
Right.
You don't
And that's
allow
when lies
that.
start happening.
It's just like wet concrete. Leave it alone and just be vulnerable. Let it harden.
Yeah.
You know, and some people just, they want to cover it up to make you think I'm not, and it's like, that plywood gonna crack at some point. Like,
So at any point in time in y'all's discovery of the open relationship piece, did y'all explore threesomes? Did you include her in this open piece, or has it always been just keep it separate?
We had conversations about it, and then we ultimately decided it's not for either one of us.
Okay.
It gets too messy and complicated.
Gotcha.
And that's really coming back to the emotional part of it, right?
Yeah.
and I think because emotionally she has me so wrapped up, because again, she's my person. She knows me so much more. So on the emotional aspect, it would be hard for me to be drawn to somebody in an emotional way, even if their sex is good, because she has my heart.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if I have sex with this girl and that girl. If I bring to you just a small things on my list, things about me, that wouldn't work for you.
And if there was a lady that you really wanted to be intimate with, and you say absolutely not, is that a conversation over?
No.
No.
That conversation will be a long one, because it's really number one thing that I say is important to me in our relationship dynamic is really not being selfish. And every person is selfish in their own way, and we all have to recognize that. But I have to be okay with his needs and wants, and I have to find a way where I'm going to be comfortable and I'm going to be okay. And if we can't come to that, then it shouldn't happen. It's up to him if he's going to be selfish and continue to go.
So-
But I never tell him, no, you can't do that.
Question, because you said that you don't meet the people you don't know. So do you tell her
Yeah.
every single time?
I tell her.
Okay.
She knows where they live at, what they look like. Like anything happen to me, she know where to go. Like she, you know what I'm
Is that
saying?
a security proof?
It's a security thing, because I might get
the
over there and it might be some people there that I'm not supposed to be meeting with. You know what I'm saying?
Especially with dating apps too, it's a really common thing that they catfish you to rob you.
So you want dating apps then?
Facebook dating.
Facebook dating. But
a joke.
she's such an FBI agent. She be like, let me look through this profile. Fake, deny. Like, even just on Facebook in general, she just looks like, that's not real.
Yeah.
Deny.
Have you ever selected somebody for him?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll go through the Facebook dating all the time and I'll like people.
Yeah, and she'll tell
And
me
it's
that.
also in his bio that
Okay.
we're in an open relationship. There's not a whole lot of detail in it, but
Gotcha.
it says, I think it's like the first sentence, yes, I'm partnered. Yes, she knows.
Oh.
We're in a one-sided open relationship.
And I've come to the conclusion that I don't think some of these females
90% of them don't
know
read
how
it.
to read.
They, well, they
Or
don't
they're-
read.
or
It's
they're-
just that they don't read.
Yeah.
They don't know how to read, and they're too horny.
Yeah.
So they just click. Oh, he's fine. I want to fuck him.
But then
And
they
then-
find out, and he hits them with the whole, did you read my bio? Well, no. And then they're like, yeah, I'm good.
So do you think once you guys are married, it's going to be more challenging? Because I think right now, when you're not officially married, I wonder if some of these girls think, oh, well, I like him, I want to be with him. Maybe he won't end up staying in this relationship. And they still think of it as you're single until you're married, essentially.
That's what they
Once
think.
you actually become married and it's like, no, I'm in a marriage, do you think that it will still be as accessible to meet women?
Yes, because
Yeah.
a lot of the times we just identify each other as husband and wife. We don't really.
But on the dating profile, you're not saying you're married. You're saying you're in an open relationship.
We're saying partner, and yeah,
Partner,
that's the
which-
phrase.
But it's.
I think a lot of people hear that though as single.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be any challenging for us. I think it's going to be that we're going to see a lot of flies drop, though.
Because I mean, even people that are married, if they find out that your relationship's open or you like to do this, so are you really married? Are you really in a relationship? If you're still doing that, it's like, yeah, that's just what's different about their relationship. Like that's their thing. And part of people being selfish in a relationship is safety.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, as much as I'm a social butterfly, my social battery will drain. She recognizes that. So she's like, babe, let's take a few days. No talking to nobody. And I have to regularly, like, she's not telling me I can't talk to people. She's telling me why I shouldn't be talking to people right now because I need a recharge.
Yeah.
And I need to focus elsewhere right now.
Right. Okay.
So that's the safety in the selfishness. And people don't look at that. They look at, oh, you're just trying to control me. No, there's a safety. Just like our parents told us, you need to be in before the streetlights come on. Or when they come on, you better be in the house. It was a safety thing. Even though you was out there having fun and kicking it, it was a safety thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Are there if she wanted to pursue an open relationship on her end, would you be okay with that?
Nah.
Why?
The reason why I wouldn't is because of how emotionally attached women can get.
But can't men also be just as emotionally attached?
They can, but it's not as high as when women do it. Like
It's a lot less likely
it's a lot
for
less
a man
likely.
to.
And is it because the age-old saying is that when men sleep with other women, it's for physical reasons, but when women sleep with other men, it's for emotional?
Yes.
So what about the women that sleep with you then?
Hey, we got that contract. We already got an agreement.
You signed the line.
You said,
I'm not worried about you anymore.
Yeah.
So what happens if someone you're involved with, now you said that contracts are not officially in place, but that's where you think things are headed. So you have like this verbal understanding and agreement. What happens if a girl gets too attached? What happens if
gotta
she wants
go.
more?
She's got to go.
She just has to go.
gotta
She's
go.
got to go.
Even if you like her, she's cool as a person, not like her wanting to be with her, but like you don't ever say let that be her problem, and if that's how she feels it.
I'll talk to him about it, but the thing people have to understand is like most people or even women would not be able to handle just me in general. And I'm not saying I'm extremely high maintenance. It's just my thought process, how, the things that are on my mind, things I want to do. I'll get it. They'll say yes in the beginning because it sounds good. But
Right.
when this is my daily, like, this is what I'm doing, it's like
Well,
they're
that's something that we've talked about with friends, family, and all of the above. Is a lot of people like the idea of him. They don't actually like him.
What do you mean? Break it down. The idea of him.
think people like that I draw. They think it's cool. But when I tell you what my price is for my art, then they don't want to pay for it.
Well, I mean, that's different, and I can understand that because I speak in the world of art too.
So when
People don't want to pay for art, period.
People like how
they don't pay for art.
how I present myself.
Yeah.
But when you're really around me, you really get to know me. It's like, oh shit.
So they like the idea of his exterior. But when we actually break it down and we get into that raw side of Joshua that people don't see, that's what they don't like. They can't handle it.
So very superficial level of things. Until
and that's happened with a lot of friendships, and people really like to put him in a box. And
what box do you get? I'm sorry, because I know him, obviously. He's my cousin, and I've known him my whole life. And so, what box do you get put in?
She's like, what box you
right.
I don't understand nothing else.
Where the box at, Cuddy?
Talk about your
What's the box?
You still call her your best friend. I say ex-best friend. Talk about that box, because that's just
there was
about the box.
There was
Opposite sex bestie.
This
fun box.
I felt that one.
Like when people say they know me. There's a lot about me that's changed within the last 6 months. There's a lot that's changed in the last 5 or 6 years. So from the time that me and my friend were around each other, it had been 12 years since you've seen me.
People change.
A lot changed.
Yeah.
So I'm not the version of me that you saw when I was broken, going through it, trying to figure it out. I was angry, suicidal. That's what you knew.
Needed somebody.
I needed somebody. I needed something because I was too scared to figure it out on my own because nobody showed me how to do that. Everything I was doing was off of reflex. I was responding based off of trauma and other stuff like that. I wasn't, when I got a job, I just had a job to have money. I didn't really have it to build a career. No one taught me how to really put those things together and really build something solid. So because I was looking to be, I needed somebody, that's where this person
She
felt.
liked to feel needed, so she thought that you were gonna.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So 12 years later, like, hey, how can I be needed again today?
So when that came about, things were different. I'm not the same. I appreciate those things, but I'm not the same person. There are things about me that, yes, I love sweets, I love candy and video games, and I draw and I crump. Those are all things, but there's other things in that that I didn't so much as just like. Now that's how I live my life, through those things.
And you've had a chance to kind of find yourself and be able to express who you are beyond the superficial, surface level things that you presented.
Right, like even when people think of, oh, he get bitches, it's like, yeah, but not really, nah. That's superficial. People think they see women around me and think, oh, he must be. I'm not fucking these girls. Like, I'm just here saying what's up.
Yeah.
Like that's the putting me in a box type. Oh, you just like the rest of these dudes. No, I'm not.
Interesting.
I'm not at all.
And that's one of the things that I really like to brag about is I get to see the inner child of him that he didn't get to have when he was a kid. So I get to watch him play with his figures and just get overly excited about the cutest little things. I get to see that.
Yeah.
And nobody else gives him a comfortable space to see that.
Yeah.
Without him being judged, because he's a big scary black man. He's not supposed to be, oh my god, I'm so excited about this lightsaber, you know? That's the box. He's a big scary black man, and he's got to stay in that box.
Gotcha.
I can tell you, he's mush.
Scary.
Oh my god.
He is mush on the
I know,
inside.
right? So, like, what you're saying, like,
Mush.
that's more
Yeah.
the person I know too. So I was like, who thinks you're big and scary? Like, yeah, you're strong, but scary?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
No.
His voice is too loud.
But that's great. It's a deep voice. To me, it's almost comforting. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like aggressive.
Right.
No, other people would disagree.
People like a gun when you can shoot it and shoot at somebody. When you're getting shot at, you don't like it. That's how my voice is.
Yeah.
You like the gun when it's directed at everything else. You don't like it when it's directed at you.
Interesting.
That makes sense. This has been an interesting
It
conversation.
has, because I feel like I'm learning a
I know,
lot.
right?
Yeah.
You about to be in an open relationship?
Yeah.
She's like, no.
I don't know if it's for me.
But the fun thing about it is if you're with somebody, just talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, babe.
That's the
Hypothetically
number one.
speaking, if you would sleep with anybody, who would you sleep with? Like, just ask that question.
Yeah.
Like, we've got our celebrity crushes.
Yeah.
Like, Billie Eilish is on our list.
That
Knocking
is
that
fun.
down if
That
we
would be
see
a
her.
threesome for sure.
She's with it.
For sure.
Oh my gosh.
Selma Hayek, oh my god.
That's on his
I
bucket
mean, but
list.
those also sound, now you guys are using celebrities, so it sounds hypothetical and it sounds like also unobtainable because when are the odds?
Right.
You're
Oh, for
really
sure,
gonna,
yeah.
Right.
I'll
So
put
then
it to
when
you
you
like
put
this.
it to something more
My
real.
homeboy
Right.
Casper.
Okay.
He's a crumper.
Yeah.
He's also a dancer.
Uh-huh.
That's who Jennifer Lopez used to be with.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was
It's
like, wow.
not hard to get.
Oh, okay. So he's saying that his crushes are
That's
attainable.
the homie from Cali from the hood.
Okay.
He said,
Who was
"Fuck
knocking
your
down Jennifer
attainability.
Lopez."
I can
Right.
knock down
No,
Billie
but
Eilish.
Stuff like that is-
Selma Hayek.
If the question is to have conversations with your other about, like who would you be with if you had an opportunity, and we start talking about people that are outside of our reach, well, that's just whimsical and fun. Not Bob down the street.
Yeah.
Come on, producer.
Right.
But we do have those conversations. If somebody reachable, like somebody that you
Okay.
can, who would it be? And it's like, oh, this person.
Gotcha.
Why that person? And then we
But
go
now
into
also
why.
keep in mind that we also know that you're pansexual, you're not. So the conversation of a threesome is also a much more tangible conversation within your relationship. Someone like me who's monogamous driven and who is really only into just a heterosexual relationship, I don't know that I could have a conversation with my other about like what
Want two
female
dicks.
should we or yeah.
Why not? Just play with the idea. You don't have to do it. Just talk about it.
See, and
Pick
that's-
their
But
brain.
that's just it. I can
See
talk
what they
about it,
like.
but it wouldn't
Yeah.
be sexual for me because I'm not sexually attracted to other women.
But
so
it's
it'd be
just-
hard
it's-
to.
it's
I could have
just-
a conversation
yeah.
like we're doing
Yeah.
right now. I could
Yeah.
have a conversation.
But this is what most people won't do.
Yeah.
They won't have that
They
conversation.
run
Right.
from
They won't
the
just talk about it.
uncomfy combos that could be really
Yeah.
fun. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
So, absolutely, like having a conversation is one thing, but then also having a conversation to put something in play is a little different.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to ask the question to my other, what female would you be interested in the two of us being with, or what guy could you see the two of us being with, if it's not something I actually hope to have. Like I don't want to open up the doors to a conversation of something that I don't actually want either. So I'm okay with talking with who do you find attractive,
Right.
but not who do you want to bring into our bedroom.
Don't
facts.
ever make yourself uncomfortable for somebody else's comfortability.
Absolutely.
That's the number one thing,
That's,
and that's
good advice.
yeah,
that's what that one girl that we stopped talking to. I always say we.
She's like,
Because she was a part
Remember
of the
when we stopped
conversation.
talking to her?
But that's what she wanted. She wanted me to make myself uncomfortable for her comfortability. Babe, you're super temporary. Why would I have to do that?
Right.
Why would I do that?
Right. Oh, that's good. So what? Okay. So if you had to give a person a piece of advice, if they were interested in exploring open relationships, what would it be?
Be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Just be honest. Don't ask somebody a question if you don't really want the answer.
Yeah.
And a lot of people run from that.
Yeah. That's
I think men are scared of that question too, but women especially. Like,
Yeah.
you ask a dude, "Do I look fat in this?"
Yeah.
You asking me the question so you know.
Yeah,
But
you
if I
do.
tell you, yeah, now you're gonna think I'm mean. Like,
Right.
it's,
No,
but
that's
you already know. So why are you asking me
Yeah.
that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
don't ask questions to enter. Like, if you know somebody stole something, don't ask them to see if they gonna like you. I know you stole it, but give me that back. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
can see it in your hands.
Right.
just it's right there. So just if you ask a question, just be ready for the truth. Don't punish
Okay.
their truth. If they're telling you something honestly,
Okay.
if you know something or you feeling something and they tell you the truth, don't be mad at them.
Yeah.
Right.
Let you know what I'm saying. Let create that safe space for them to tell you what's on their mind and how they feeling. So be honest. Don't punish their truth. And shit, just step outside the box.
Okay. And then what about you?
Be more self-reflective, I think.
Okay.
Really be able to pull yourself into that like third person. Can I do this? Is this something I'm comfortable with? What can I do to meet you in the middle? It's about sacrifices, but not making yourself uncomfortable. Be realistic, be honest with yourself. And just try to put yourself in that other person's shoes. Why do you feel this way? What do you need from me to accomplish your feelings?
I like it. Okay. Well.
And Leigh LaRie, do you have any takeaway from this conversation?
I don't Oh, I'm processing. Okay, I like the open, the honesty, the way that you describe it. It's a sacrifice for your partner that you're putting yourself in a position to make them happy by being less selfish, and so that's a huge thing for me. I'm going to work on that one because I'm a jealous ass person.
I'll give this example. So there's this TV show called Black Mirror, and in one of the episodes, the guy was playing in this simulator video game with his homeboy.
Oh yeah.
But the one homeboy's character was a girl, and the other dude was a guy. But when they were fighting, the dude saw the girl and thought she was attractive. They started kissing in the game, but when they came out of it, turned the game off, they both was like, not trying to talk about that. But then when they seen each other, it got real intimate when they was punching and fighting each other. Then they on the ground rolling and kissing each other. So then when dude told his wife about it, instead of her getting mad because she wasn't getting the attention from him, they came to an agreement. On your birthday, you get to jump in the simulation and do your thing with him. And I get my one night where I get to go sleep with somebody. Throughout the whole year, relationship great. And they have that one day where they both get to do that one thing. But that's what helped their relationship. Because now they started to see what you need, what I need. So let's meet in the middle. Instead of being mad at you and punishing you for it, let's meet here. And that's what they did. And that was one of the things that's what we do. We just meet each other where we at, and aren't afraid to just be honest about how we feeling. But also, it's I love this relationship, and I hope that more people can just have those conversations and just don't be mad. Like, just listen to your partner.
I love it. Well, Nik B, what are your takeaways?
My biggest takeaway, like they were just saying, is really communicate. And I know me personally, I have a really tough time asking tough questions, especially in the beginning of a relationship, because I'm always trying to tread lightly and not offend or upset or any of those things. And so I think my biggest takeaway is just kind of learning to speak a little bit more for myself.
Advocate for yourself.
Advocate for myself, and just have open communication. So
you gotta be blunt and direct.
There you go. Okay, well, if people want to find y'all, follow y'all, hear more of
questions
your lives, if they have questions, where can they find you guys if y'all want to be found?
On Facebook, Joshua Big Snubb Dudley. That's Snubb with 2 B's. SNUBB.
Instagram, Shawnie 303. SHAWNIE 303.
Yep, I'm on Instagram too, Snubbleficus.
Don't even. Yeah. They're not gonna be able to figure that out.
Oh my goodness, you'll figure it out.
We'll be sure to post and tag you guys.
It'll be all in there when y'all check me out.
Tag it all.
My website and everything on there, and we're wanting to work on a podcast as well where we talk more about this type of stuff.
I love it.
Even like situations that we've run into in the relationship and outside the relationship, and how we tackle them together.
That'll be good. Well, let us know when y'all do that. We'll post it.
Definitely.
Nik B, where can they find you?
So I can be found on all pages of Dirty Roses Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I think Twitter also. Also our website, DirtyRosesPodcast.com. And if you need to reach me specifically, I can be found on Instagram at Nik B _Nik B, and that's Nik with a K. And Miss Leigh LaRie, where can we find you?
I will ditto what you said about all the Dirty Roses podcast platforms, and then me personally, Leigh LaRie on all platforms, LEIGHLARIE, and we answer DMs, and we'll talk more about this. I think we need to post some more stuff about this later. Keep the conversation going.
Yeah, and if there were any questions we didn't get to, post those, tag us in them, we'll answer them for people. Or y'all see, just hit us up.
We'll do
ask
it.
us
Send
questions.
us y'all's questions. All right, we'll catch y'all next time.
Guess what, Rose Buddies? We are thrilled to introduce our new sponsorship packages. Be sure to hit us up at DirtyRosesPodcast.com to inquire how we can showcase your brand on our platforms.